Hey there, PD Two Finger here. I've got this Easy Pro keyboard by Bella. I'll turn the color up so you can get a look at what this looks like. So this is a scrub wheel dealio. This is for video editing. I paid $5 for this. If you're a Mac user, you're in luck. I can get you some software today. This should be able to get you going. Basically what I typed in was easy keyboard. I typed in Bella shuttle keyboard 3104 drivers. And that took me to a Facebook page, Killer Keys, February 23rd, 2015. If you're looking for Bella keyboard drivers, you can find them here. And we have keyboard drivers, DMG for Mac, FCP, which is Final Cut Pro, X, Zip. That's key layouts that you import into it. Then there's another DMG, which is all for Mac. And then we have jsm.setup _ 351.exe. Now, if you take a look over at Creative Cow, there is a needed driver for defunct Bella Corp Vegas DV keyboard. And here is a link to www.frogpondmedia.com dump JSM setup PC 3.0 final.exe. So that's a different version of this Windows driver. And so what you're going to do if you want to get this going and use it to help you in your, let's say you've got Sony Vegas. Let's say you've got some Reaper or whatever your DAW is, and you've got, all of a sudden you found one of these or you want to order it. There are 150 new, probably went for 130 retail. I paid $4.99 today at Goodwill. You can find these for 25 bucks, on eBay. So if you got something like this, there's 8 keys up here for you to install whatever you want on, shortcuts, hotkeys. And then there's an additional, the ones that are labeled with transport, like rewind, stop, play/pause, and fast forward. Then there's a email and a www. You can assign those to whatever you want. So you pretty much got all of these to customize. Then there's these up, down, left, right down here. You got these 2 extra guys here along with the this thing, and then this spins. And so what you do, you get this keyboard, you plug it into a USB port, and don't plug it into the one that's on the card reader. A real USB port. Not through an extension or one of those ports, right into the computer. And then you're going to wait. And it's going to take a while for your Windows to spin around and detect the driver. This was the longest time I ever waited for it to install a driver, and it successfully installed. It really had to go looking. And so once it found it, I installed the JSM settings. And so when I looked at that, on the left is applications. There's a list of old softwares. Sony Vegas is in there. Anyway, I'm going to have to load up my Vegas and then custom assign all these buttons later. But we'll go through that process now. We'll say we're going to use a software that's not on the list. And in my case, it's Adobe Audition 3.01. That's my DAW. I use Reaper sometimes. I'll use that for my drums. I go with 64-bit and run it and put the drums together, and then I export that out as a audio file and load those into this older Adobe Audition 3.0 because that's what I learned on. And I have a Shuttle Contour Pro remote with a undo, rewind, and record hotkeyed on there, which really, I can play, I make a mistake, I hit undo, and it stops recording and deletes that. I hit rewind, it goes back to the line, I hit record, and I'm back in. So just that alone enables me to speed up my recording by like 50%. And it's an incredible time saver having something with hotkeys. So my intention tonight is to get rewind, stop, play, pause, fast forward, along with adding a record and a undo. And I'm going to paint, I'm going to use nail polish red for that record on this one button. And then probably another color for the undo. And then these other buttons, like here I could hit multi-track mode, edit mode shortcut. And then when I'm in edit mode, I could go ahead and add a shortcut to my multi-band compressor that I use on like every track. And then how about that isotope ozone that I use for mastering on every track? So I'm going to quickly fill as I go up. I'll do that. I'll assign that, and then the rest of them as I work, I'll go, oh, wouldn't that be handy to think of to assign a shortcut for this? And so then we're going to pull open our JSM settings, click on the button because the buttons are listed, and then go over into keystroke and manually assign whatever that shortcut would be. And so those shortcuts you find by looking in your software itself. You can find, like in Adobe Audition, it has a thing where it says external controllers and MIDI, and you can pull that up, and it has in categories like transport controls, and it'll tell you, well, the play pause hotkey is Alt P. Or you might be easier for you to just Google that, like what are all of the hotkeys for Final Cut Pro or whatever software you're using. Actually, Final Cut Pro, they have on Killer Keys, they have a file with all of these laid out, these buttons laid out that you just loaded into the software through the Option key, import or export settings. You can import or export into a file. So if you were going to back this up, once you set it up, you could export that and save it and put it in a folder where you keep your stuff. So again, install. You plug the keyboard in, it installs the driver. Then you install this JSM settings, which you could think of as your liaison or go-between your keyboard and the software you're ultimately trying to control. So we load up the JSM settings software, and we look on the left. It has a list of applications. Of course, they're all old applications. This is an old keyboard. And we look, and of course, Adobe Audition is not listed. So at the bottom of that, I noticed there's a plus and a minus. So I click on that plus. It says Restore Default, and then there's a plus and a minus on the left there. I'm going to click that plus key. A window opens up, and it's looking for an executable file. So what that tells me is it wants to know, hey, what program would you like to use this keyboard to control? So I'm going to go, well, what program? I'll tell you. It's in my computer in local disk C under the program files x86 folder is this Adobe folder, and inside of that is Adobe Audition. So we click in there, up, and sure, there it is, Adobe Audition. It's got the little icon. I'm going to select that and hit open, and then up. Okay, there it is. Audition showed up in the list of applications. So now I'm going to open Adobe Audition and go to, it's going to take a minute for that to open. And once that's finally open, we are going to look at okay, under Edit in Adobe Audition, it says Keyboard Shortcuts and MIDI Triggers. Now I'm going to go ahead and select Multi-Track View, and under Category, I'm going to select Transport, because the first keys that I want to assign are this rewind, stop, play/pause, and then fast forward. So I take a look in here. Play normal is Alt P. So that's the information I need. So I'm going to go to the Actions section of JSM. We're back on JSM. We've already selected the executable Audition folder. So that is listed in the applications, and that's highlighted blue. And now under Actions, under the multimedia keys, I'm going to select play/pause. And then you have a bunch of, it comes stock under no action is selected. Underneath that is keystroke, and they give you a window to type in your keystrokes. Under that is macro, or URL or program. And then there's predefined. Now predefined, they were all listed in there. I thought, I bet that'd work. I didn't have any luck with that on Adobe Audition. Maybe you want to try that, but how I got mine to work was to select keystroke. And then I went back, going back to my actual Audition program and taking a look under keyboard shortcuts, Adobe Audition Default Transport section, I see Play Normal represented as the Alt P. So going back to the JSM settings, I'm going to make sure that the Audition is highlighted under Applications. Looking into the Actions window, I'm going to highlight Play/Pause, and I'm going to select Keystroke, and I'm going to hit Alt and P, which I've already done, and there you go. Now you hit Apply, and you can quit, and yes, save changes. And now when you have Adobe Audition open, and you hit this Play Pause button, well, it plays and pauses, which I haven't installed the stop button yet, so I had to use my mouse. That's basically it. If you have any questions, well, I got the comments shut off. So anyway, good luck, and I hope that was helpful. It sounds more complicated than it is, but you should be able to figure it out. And if you got one of these, you probably got a Mac. So go cry, go put your turtleneck on, take your acid, take your LSD, and make sure you let everyone, all the PC users in your life, know that, dude, they need to get a Mac so they can be awesome like you. All right, you guys, good thoughts, good words, good deeds. I made this video about 8 times in a row, wasted a whole day trying to get it shorter, and now I'm making it even longer by talking. But hey, it's like 5 minutes shorter than it was. So, all right, good luck, have fun, and